Hey there, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Brooks. Join me as I sit down with co-hosts, friends, and carefully curated guests as we talk about all the things that empower you to become your best, most confident self so you can step boldly into who you were created to be, the confident woman. Let's go. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Confident Woman Podcast. So today, I thought I would just jump on here and just wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all the things that this time of year brings into existence. And just as a reminder, and maybe more so even as a little pep talk to myself, is to really give yourself the gift of presence. And that was something I was actually thinking about earlier this week as I prepare to take some time off and be present with my family and my loved ones. But more importantly, the importance of being present with yourself. And I think that as entrepreneurs and just go-getting women, we have this mentality that we have to be on, that it's a hustle to get through the list that never ends as quickly as possible. And it just feels like it never, ever will put a dent in it, that it'll make a difference. And then you question, like, well, am I even making a difference? Is all of this worth it? And so, when we can find ourselves hitting that place of like burnout and exhaustion, especially at this time of year, those seeds of doubt can start to sprout if we don't start to take action today and allowing ourselves that time to unplug, to reset, to be present, to do whatever it takes that's needed and necessary for you and only you would know. But, to feel that you're empowering yourself to take that break, that you're empowering your thought processes and your behaviors and your beliefs and all of those to really reflect and think about why we feel this need to always be on and why we feel a tinge of guilt when we want to take some time off, or more importantly, really should, and as a necessity, take some time off. So why do we put ourselves through that process, and then on one side we're asking for this pause and this break, but on the other side of the coin we don't? So that's something I was just kind of thinking over this past couple of days, and just allowing myself to really feel what I'm feeling, as I'm also reminding myself to disconnect, to slow down, to postpone meetings, to, do all the things. And as I take that moment to question the duality and the dichotomy of my wiring, which is, we find ourselves in these same repeated patterns. And even in my chasing of perfection, that lofty ideal that, it will be enough, and therefore I will be enough, and therefore life will be all the things that we could possibly imagine, want, and desire, and all the things, right? And in that chase, I'm finding the same patterns recurring in my current season. And even in this current season that I'm in, I've had some struggles and really just challenges to really identify what that is, because I think when we're in these places that we kind of go inward, there's some darkness that we still have to shine light on. And as we do, we start uncovering so many different facets and things that were hidden in those little nooks and crannies that get buried with everyday nuances of life. And I think at this time of year is a really good time to take that pause and reset and do some inner work and some self-reflection and get in tune and start asking yourself some of those hard questions that, you find yourself in those patterns that's repetitive and creating some resistance and asking yourself again how you got here. And that is something that I actually love doing. Um, it's kind of an exploration, like I get to really dive deep and go into that inner work that I love doing, for my own self, but also for my clients. We go deep. We talk about the, struggles, the realness, the rawness of life, like the things that everyday women, do encounter, but in reality, it feels like we're alone. And, through my own inner works of doing this practice for several years, like this has just been a part of who I am because I've made it a priority in my life to do those check-ins. And I do encourage you that if you're not including some self-reflection into your practice, to perhaps take some time and just give yourself a little bit of pause. It might just be a few deep breaths. And in that breath work, there's a pause. And that's where we catch those thoughts. And we got to catch the thoughts and evaluate them. What are these thoughts? Where did they come from? Are they mine? Are they somebody else's? Are they urgent? Are they necessary? Are they relevant to the here and now? Is it worry? Is it stress? Is it doubt? Is it anxiety? Right? And the list goes on. But if we don't allow ourselves that time, we miss that. And those thoughts become our beliefs. And our beliefs become a part of who we are. It's our identity. So sometimes it's like, I guess more or less, we got to clean out the lint trap of all the crap that is getting stuck in there, that is clogging up our filtration, and we're overheating, we're overexerting, and we're just over exhausted. And frankly, we're just over it. And maybe this is the time that you can give yourself that gift of being present. And when we clean out that trap and we go inward and we figure out what is holding us back and clean it out, we can step into a more healthier version mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You're just going to feel lighter, more present, right? And no matter what you're going through at this season in your life, that you allow yourself to at least be grateful for these moments. All those hardships, all the struggles, all the strife, all the things, right? Because when you look at it from a place of gratitude, there's so much beauty in these lessons that appear, and we give ourselves these gifts, these reminders, these little reflections and insights that are little gifts of self-awareness. And it only improves us. It brings more insight and awareness to the overall, to how we show up for ourselves, how we're showing up in our businesses, how we're showing up in our families, our homes, our workplace. How are we showing up? And that is something that I question in my own experiences. And when you feel like that lint trap is bogged down, you got to check the trap. You got to check in with yourself. And maybe we're just getting the everyday bits of grit of life trapped in these traps. And they just need a look within. And I think, for me, this is definitely a time that I really am grateful for, and also a time that I struggle with that drive to being an entrepreneur. It's like, how do I take off work and mentally check out of work and be fully mentally and emotionally present with my family and friends and my loved ones that mean the world to me. And so if you find yourself straddling between the two, and just something as you transition, I'm learning more about refining of that balance, because life and business are always changing, and setting up boundaries and parameters help kind of buffer the rail so you're not swaying too far off track. But this was just something that, as I was thinking through, and, obviously with so many entrepreneurs and amazing women that are just trying their best to do it all and do it all well, kudos to you ladies, because we're all in this together. And I think I needed this a little bit more than, hopefully, I don't know if it resonates with you, but I needed this a little bit of a pep talk. And so I just wanted to spread some love and some insight. And so hopefully this resonates with you. And if it does, please, please, please let me know, because sometimes you feel like you might be on this lonely island, and we're all in this together. So thank you for listening. And again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday Seasons, greetings, all the things. And I'm just so grateful for all of you, and all the best. Take care.
Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Confident Woman Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Thanks again for listening.